Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. So we are going to be watching Jellyfish Diner or Kurage no Shokudou. I'll be honest, I have had this 30-minute OVA saved on my computer since like July of 2020. I've had it saved for nearly 2 years and I've not ever done anything with it. I've always been like, oh, I'll find time, I'll watch that. And then it's never worked out, or something else has come up, or it's something else has taken its place. And I've put it to the back burner for literal years. And so now there's a week break in between 2 volumes of Yona the Dawn. And I was like, I know what I'll watch. I'll finally go and watch that OVA that I know nothing about that I have been sitting on for 2 years. So, like I said, I know nothing about what this story is about. I remember I chose it back then because I was looking for BL OVAs and like one shots that I could watch like just on my own. And this popped up, and that's all I know is that it has something to do with BL. That's all I know. I think I've forgotten the reason I chose it several years ago. So it's been sitting on my desktop all this time waiting to be watched, and today was the day. So I decided that now it's time to watch, and we're just going to see what it's about and then talk about it. But it's 30 minutes. It's a pretty brief OVA. I don't know if it's based on like a one-shot manga or like a volume of something. Usually BL series, if they're made like little OVAs like this, are like one volume and that's it. But I don't know, or it might just be an anime-only original. I don't know. I'm sure in the comments you all will tell me down below why I chose this. I don't remember, but maybe watching this will jog my memory. So this is Jellyfish Diner. That is the translation of the title, and we're going to see what it's all about. So I'm curious. I hope you all are too. But in any case, we are going to start the Jellyfish Diner OVA, and we are going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Okay, and then they just made it a home. Aww. Okay. So yeah, we need to find out a little bit more about this. Okay, so it is based off of a light novel. Oh, okay. It's a Japanese light novel written by Miyako Ayama. Okay, and it was published in 2014, and in 2016 was released as an OVA. There we go. That's what it is. Oh, now I want to read the light novel. I bet they don't have it in English translation. That was really cute, though. That was really, really adorable. I really enjoyed that. That was really enjoyable. I like that. I like a good OVA that in 30 minutes you get a good example of the characters, you get like a plot setup, you've got a twist and a turn, and then there's a resolution to it. And it kind of has that weird supernatural element, which I liked a lot in this. So Misaki, man, I did not expect right out the gate that we were going to have like a death, and that's what we were starting from. But gosh, so Misaki and his twin brother. That's just, it's crazy. I'm reading like Goodbye Area and like these other things that are talking about like really sad, like dark subjects like suicide. And it's like, wow. But that's an interesting angle about the whole twin aspect of it. So just looking at Arashi and Misaki, you have 2 individuals who are both brothers, who have both lost brothers and have that feeling of being left behind. And what do they do now? And there's kind of like, on the one hand, you have Arashi, who has the same condition as his brother and believes that one day he'll eventually succumb to that disease like his brother had, and he'll just disappear, cease to exist, right? And then you have Misaki, who, even though he's not suicidal, it's eerie because he sees, himself and his brother, and then he sees how others react seeing him, thinking that he's his brother, and how that affects him. So it's very interesting. But the animation, it said it came out in 2016. When we saw Misaki on the beach, it reminded me of Free. Like, it looked like Haru, and I was like, is this Kiwani? But no, there were some Neon Genesis references in this, which was fun. But just the idea, and he says he went out in the water to drown, but he wasn't really wanting to drown. He just wanted to like experience the feeling of it and then stop himself. He wanted to give himself a reason to live. Because he says he's not suicidal like his brother is. Because that's the thing. He's like, I am different than my brother, but my brother and I were identical twins. So it's so weird that someone that looks the same as you, and that's what he was trying to process throughout all this. Masaki's like, he looks identical to me, and I didn't even know he was considering this. So he's like, I don't understand why my brother took his life. He's like, how could he? Why? There were no signs. And that's probably the saddest thing about it in this case, because I've watched Given, and in Given, there is a character that dies, that commits suicide, and that character, there's kind of a build up to it, and there's a reason why you can ascertain that happened. And then I've seen other pieces of media where characters commit suicide and you find out the backstories of them, and it's tragic, and it kind of explains it. But in this story, there is no explanation. There's nothing given. Masaki doesn't even understand why. It just happened. And that's kind of the sad reality, is that I knew someone in school that had committed suicide, and there was no warning. It just happened. And it's very tragic and horrible and awful. But sometimes you just don't even know. And that's the sad thing about it, is that you have no idea going into it, right? That someone would do something like that. And for it to be his twin brother, it's especially hard, because he's like, I don't know what to do with this or how to process it, right? And then the parents on top of that, like, he's trying to grieve for his brother, and then he finds out that his mother, she can't even look at him because all she does is think about the child that she lost. And that opening scene at the dinner table where the mom, you pan over to her and she's just lost, and she's looking right at him. She's looking right at Masaki, right? Because she can see him across the table. It's so tragic. But Arashi, finding him on the beach, the parallels of him finding on the beach, him and his brother being found on the beach before that by the owner of the diner, the jellyfish in the tank, that's really cool. And the idea that it's Arashi by himself. What I liked about this is that it was a very nonchalant BL. It was very much there. It was very much there. I like that the glisten was explained, because for a second you see the water droplet go down his chest and you see it glisten, and I was like, is that supposed to be like Masaki checking him out? But no, it was the translucentness of his skin that he could see, right? And that's the idea too, because Masaki says he went into the sea to try to find a reason to live. And for Arashi, he knows that going in the water exposes him and that it's potentially dangerous, but he wants to keep doing it because it makes him feel alive. And it's like, oh, so relatable, right? But I love that. I love that with these characters in this little short OVA. And then you have Natsuko, and she's like, the twist that she was in love with the brother, that all makes sense. I was like, all right. And she just keeps on helping Arashi because she loved the brother. We never see what the brother looks like, so that's a shame. But yeah, Arashi kind of, when Masaki, like, I love that when Masaki, like, admits that he was lying about his memory, and he, like, kind of crumbles and falls to the ground, and Arashi, he, like, crouches down there beside him. That was so cute. And he's like, you are grieving for your brother. Like, people may not think it, but you are grieving, and it's okay. And it's like, it was so sweet. I loved that. I thought that was so sweet. And then just them, like, going through the motions and him wanting to stay at the diner. There's a part of me that's like, man, he just kind of up and abandoned his family that were grieving the loss of his brother. But at the same time, the mom couldn't stand him being there. So, I mean, it's left pretty open-ended that he could go back and see his family, and he wrote to them. So there's a chance they'll come and see him. That all could come into play. There's still a chance that'll be all right. So I feel better knowing that he didn't just, like, abandon his family completely. But I like that he wants to stay with Arashi, because he kind of finds, like, a second home there. And I love that line that Arashi said where he's like, sometimes you just stumble into somewhere, and if you stay there long enough, you can grow an attachment to that place, and it's blissful. Like you can find your home and make it your own, and then you won't want to leave. And it's kind of what happens with Masaki. Like, I love how he phrases that in the OVA. It was really, really cute. But the animation was good. The music was good. Of course, as soon as they go back with the letter and he's not there, I'm like, he's in the ocean. I thought he was in the fish tank at first, like the disease had progressed, but it did not. It was like, no, it's fine. But instead he'd gone into the ocean, and they had to go out and get him. And I like that Masaki, like, stops her from going out. At first, when he's like, he stops her from going out, I was like, now wait a minute, what are we gonna do? But he stopped her because of the rocks. I thought maybe he was gonna go out there with Arashi and have a moment, but it was the kind of BL that hints around at it, but doesn't come out and say it. Like, you get the impression that Misaki and Arashi were going to stay together at that house and live at the diner, but it's never, it's implied, but it's never directly stated. But I like to think that Arashi and Misaki were going to have a relationship. That's so sweet. I love that so much. But yeah, it made me want to read more. I wanted more with Arashi and Misaki, especially now that they've like come to terms with the fact that Misaki's going to stay there. I love they called him Salt. Like, I'm glad that they figured out his real name, and then calling him either Crow or Gull, just ridiculous. But it was so cute. And I like that at the very end we got the little twist about the brothers, about them being found, about Arashi kind of relating to Misaki and grieving his brothers in their own way. It's really good. So that was really adorable. I've wanted to watch that for years. Now I've seen it. I can check it off. All is right in the world. So I'm very curious to know your thoughts about Jellyfish Diner. I just thought it would be something very cute this week. As I'm recording this, Yona the Dawn Volume 37, the official English translation, comes out October 4th. So on Patreon, I'll be able to react to this. I'll be able to react to Volume 37 next week, and then it'll be the week following on YouTube. But I was trying to find out something. I'm like, I wanted to wait that extra week for the official translation to come out. And I was like, what am I going to do in the meantime? And I was like, this will be perfect. And it really was adorable. I thought this was very cute. So good on you, OVA. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. This was really sweet. But I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. But in the meantime, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And yeah, I will be back next week with more reactions. Bye.